AP is reporting that Americans are exhausted by political news. I don't think it's Americans, because a good portion of Americans are pretty excited about winning. I think the people who are in the losing category are probably pretty dang exhausted, because losing is exhausting, and the Democrats have been having a lot of it. New ratings are out. An AP North came out saying that Democrats are tuning out. Now, they're trying to cope here at this headline. They'll explain a little bit further down. Yeah, no, Republicans are actually watching more because we're winning. We're excited about our country having some forward progress finally after 4 years of devastation. Now they're saying, no, but everybody's tuning out. No, it's just you guys. Here's what they write from New York. They say, as a Democrat who immersed himself in political news, Zayed Al-Nala has much in common with many Americans. After the election, he's tuned out. He says, he's from San Diego, by the way, of course, says people are mentally exhausted. Everyone knows what is coming, and we're just taking some time off. Hopefully he's got a therapist or something to help him work through this, whatever this is. Television ratings, and now a new poll, clearly illustrate the phenomenon. About 2/3 of American adults say they've recently felt the need to limit media consumption about politics, according to a new poll. Smaller percentages of Americans are limiting their news intake. And here, election news on CNN and MSNBC, they say, was taking up too much of Sam's time. He's a 47-year-old electrician. He says, the last thing I want to watch right now is the interregnum. Says he's a Democrat, no fan of Trump. So obviously, he's not interested in any of this. But here you go. Here's, they bury it a little bit further down. Polls find more Democrats than Republicans are stepping away from the news. Yeah. The poll was conducted in December, found that about 7 in 10 Democrats say they're stepping away from political news. The percentage isn't as high, though, as for Republicans. But still, 6 in 10 Republicans say they felt the need to take some time off, too. And the shares for independents is similar. And of course, it's the holidays. We just had a nice victory. It is a good time to catch your breath a little bit and gear up for the incoming fight, because Trump's not the president yet, remember? He's just prepping. He will be the president soon enough when we have our January 20th Christmas celebration, Christmas number 2. And from there, things are going to be pretty exciting. Now, the difference is starker on TV networks than it has been for others. After election night, the primetime viewership of MSNBC was down 54% from the pre-election audience. That's a lot. CNN down 45% as well, but Fox News is up. Favorite news network for Trump fans, now up 13%, going the opposite direction. Since the election, 72% of the people watching one of those 3 cable networks in the evening were watching Fox News, as opposed to the others. Post-election slump for fans of Kamala, having a difficult time trying to figure this out. Some are confused, now looking for alternatives. And MSNBC had its own anger issue. We covered this when Morning Joe and Mika Brzezinski went down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. They came back like, we had to do it. We're people of unity. We're very excited to mend the fence. We'll see what happens. Now, there's a concern that maybe people are going to check out. I think it's going to be the opposite, actually. Trump is going to push an aggressive agenda, and it's going to be the most interesting 4 years, maybe in political history, because Trump is at the helm. He's an interesting guy when he's around. Things are exciting. MSNBC can take some solace in history, saying that previous years they have bounced back after they've lost. Anula said, I'll be tuning back in once the clown show starts. See, there you go. So even they are not going to be able to look away from this. Look, Trump is already talking about taking Panama, Greenland, and Canada is going to be our 51st state. What other TV or news media entertainment are you going to watch that's better than that? But the ride may not be smooth. MSNBC's slide is even steeper than it was in 16. Oh, people are unplugging from cable news. I think that is all true. Still, others are finding new ways to watch on YouTube. And so they're going to have to figure it out. And I don't think that they're learning their lesson all that well. But I don't know why they're having a tough time getting viewers. Kamala Harris is celebrating Kwanzaa. And this is very interesting political leadership. She wrote this and then got skewered for it. Said, when I was growing up, Kwanzaa was a special time of reflection with family and friends. Let us carry the wisdom of the 7 principles with us as we work to build a brighter future. Happy Kwanzaa. From Kamala Harris with the Kwanzaa menorah or whatever that is called. So they're reaming her in the comments, Sarah Rose. You mean the made up Marxist holiday that Indians celebrate? You mean that this one is a made up holiday based on nothing? IO says, you mean the Kwanzaa creator who was then convicted of abusing women? You mean all that Kwanzaa? And people were saying that Kwanzaa was not even a thing when Kamala was born. Okay, so I looked this up actually. Kamala Harris was born in 1964, October 20th. Kwanzaa was invented and created 2 years later in 1966, as you can see right there. So I guess she was raised alongside Kwanzaa. So I just go, all right. So that is who the Democrats have at the helm. No wonder people are not watching any of their shows. We also have Joe Biden and Jill Biden now just calling it a day. He spent nearly 40% of his entire presidency on vacation. This is him on the way to the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix. Is that how you say that? Ways enjoying himself at the taxpayer expense. Good job walking down the stairs. Okay. Thanks, Joe. All right, so that's over to the Virgin Islands. And then he also made his way. This is him arriving. Let's see, this is the president over from C-SPAN, getting out of the car, getting out of the car. Is this maybe them leaving and going to the Virgin Islands? All right, so that's the president. And we now know that he will be leaving soon. The end of the Biden administration is upon us. And Joe Biden is responsible for a lot of devastation in the Democratic Party. Politico is sharing with us 9 political trends that died in 2024, along with the Democratic Party and many of their ideas. Here's the list. They say the end of the year obituary packages are publishing. Everybody saying, what did we lose in 2024? Here are some of the things. So one thing that we definitely saw a lot less of and were a lot less impactful, celebrity endorsements. Remember, we had Oprah, and after they indicted Diddy, they brought out a lot of other people too. Remember, they brought out most of Hollywood. I can't even remember their names. J-Lo, Eminem, Usher, remember those people? They all of a sudden came out of the woodwork. We love Kamala now. Previously, in prior elections, celebrities mattered a lot more. Now, not so much. You saw at this point here in prior elections, Arnold had 37 stars and so on and so forth. But here, 37 stars endorsed Harris. Trump had a few others, but they didn't really matter. Elon mattered because he opened up free speech. But even Taylor Swift came out and endorsed Kamala Harris, and it wasn't enough to push her over the margin. You can see we also saw they tell us that equal justice under the law has died. Look how ridiculous this is. They say Trump got sweeping immunity, and the Supreme Court reinforced this reality. Look how they write this. We've long known that Trump was getting special treatment in the courts. Special treatment? You mean 4 indictments and lawsuits to throw him off the ballot and fake, in my opinion, civil fraud lawsuits and defamation filings brought about after they created the laws in New York to do that? We've long known Trump was getting special treatment in the courts. Give me a break. They have organized the entire Justice Department to take him out. They even prosecuted him with a fake prosecutor. They also say traditional canvassing is out. I'm not so sure about this. When we were at AmFest, we had a great talk with O'Malley on X, and he's part of Pennsylvania Chase, PA Chase, and they went door to door and they were chasing ballots. So canvassing in the sense that you might want to persuade voters, not really maybe working for either political party, but turning out the vote, right? Getting your people to turn their ballots in. I think that is still very much alive. Other political obituaries, DEI programs, gone. saying after George Floyd, everybody was so excited about Black Lives Matter, even though they stole, what was it, like $60 million from the movement or whatever it was. But now those projects are going bye-bye. Many lawmakers have spent years outlining state-funded DEI programs. Walmart even pulled back on all of its diversity work. And now, after Kamala's loss, it's clear many Democrats don't know what to do about these programs, especially when the Trump administration promised they're going to use the federal government to get rid of them. Also, dead or aborted, campaigning on abortion. They were so giddy about abortion. And I got to be honest, this issue made me nervous because of what happened in 2022 and because of what I saw out on the streets. Downtown in Phoenix, Arizona, we had canvassers with their pro abortion pledges all over the place, just talking to people all day, constantly. Abortion, abortion. And I thought, oh man, this might be a big motivator. But turns out it is arguably less important than a wrecked economy, open borders, crime on the streets, massive inflation, and so on. So they put abortion rights ballot measures in 7 more states. And a lot of those won. A lot of those passed, but it wasn't enough to carry Kamala over the finish line. Also, say trust the experts is now going bye-bye. America's great thinkers and investors spent 2024 pondering how AI might now make the human mind obsolete. But the cycle was a reminder that the data can't paint a full picture of what's really happening. Saying many were fooled, the data promised that Kamala was going to win because the polls were saying this, that, and the other, but the data failed and Kamala lost. Also, the Kennedy mystique is now dead. And I think maybe from the Kennedy family, but I think RFK Jr. is more popular than he's ever been. And people are in love with the dude. They also say the misinformation industry, lying. They say it had a banner year, saying Trump is ramping up his decades-long war on veracity. Oh my gosh, what a joke. These people have been censoring the truth. They have been covering up for, first of all, their incompetence at every turn and censoring the people who challenge them. We just read an article in the prior segment about the lab leak theory that they covered up. These intelligence agencies who are supposed to be the experts on the truth are dishonest. The real purveyors of information are them. The politics on Saturday Night Live also going away, not even a real factor. And I remember in prior elections, some of those SNL skits, some people might say were dispositive. Think, for example, about Sarah Palin and John McCain. They mocked Sarah Palin into oblivion. And a lot of people were tuning in and watching those numbers. But that did not happen this cycle because all of their tactics, all of their Oprahs and Al Sharptons and SNLs and their lecturings from Hollywood and J-Lo and all the progressives, they rallied them all. They scolded everybody. They threw out their own people like RFK Jr. and Joe Rogan. Now they're suffering the consequence. So you can see in this article, they've learned virtually nothing. I think this is mostly dripping with disdain for the people who have killed these things. Why don't you want celebrities to endorse you? Why don't you want equal justice under the law as we prosecute every single person who is even associated with Trump, try to disbar lawyers, de-license doctors, and so on? So they're upset about these deaths. But what they don't realize is the country will be much better for the elimination of these trends. All right.